Okay, on Unicast, you are with Brendan Cooper for Saturday Sessions, and I'm pleased to have with me on the phone Gideon Preiss from Melbourne indie folk band Husky. Hey, how are you today, Gideon?
Yep, very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you for asking. Now, so Husky has really been doing some amazing stuff recently. In October of last year, you released your debut album, Forever So, with Liberation Music of Australia, and then have since been signed to you've been the first Australian band to be signed to the US record label Sub Pop, who have also signed the likes of Fleet Foxes, The Head and Heart, Foals, and The Shins, just to name a few. You've also toured extensively, this country and some other countries. Where did it all start? I mean, when did you and your cousin Husky Kwanda decide to start being a band?
Well, I mean, we grew up together. Music was always a big part of our lives, from hanging out with our folks and singing around, at the dinner table, hanging out around the piano and singing harmonies and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So music was always a big part of our upbringing, but we didn't really get serious, to playing together until about probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then about 3.5 years ago, we put the lineup that is Husky now, which is myself and Husky and Evan Tweedy on bass guitar and Luke Collins on drums. And, in that time we've been working, trying to, do tours around the country, trying to build an audience, and until we got the idea of putting Forever So together, and then it all sort of kicked off from there.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've been doing pretty well so far. I mean, you've got huge support from around the country and all over the world, really. As I said, you have been signed with the American label Sub Pop. You're the first Australian band to do that. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, very exciting. Yeah, so our manager was over in Seattle, where Sub Pop is based, and she gave Jonathan Poneman, who's the owner of Sub Pop, the guy who signed Kurt Cobain and Nirvana.
Yeah.
And he loved our record, and a few days later we were on the phone and discussing whether or not we'd be able to work the record together.
Yep.
And luckily we came to a nice little agreement, and everyone was happy, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and they are releasing the Forever So in, I think, the 28th of May in Europe, and then the US and Canada on the 10th of June, I think it was.
That's right, yeah.
That's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is extremely exciting. So, I don't think we ever dreamed we'd have the record released overseas, and I don't think we ever imagined that it will be so well received in Oz, and we're excited and we're humbled.
Yeah, I mean, the starting of the record was really humble. I read that you recorded it in the back of Husky's house in some sort of bungalow you put together. What happened there?
Yeah, well, Husk had a bungalow in the back in his backyard in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, and we set up a very small budget recording studio.
Yep.
And we used the bungalow as our sort of control room, where we'd listen back to stuff, where all the computer and all of the recording gear was set up. We'd write in there, and then we fed cables out through his backyard and into the window of his lounge room, where we set up a recording room. That was our main recording room, where we did all of the vocals and guitars and heaps of bits and pieces. And then there were also times when we tracked the entire band somewhere in his house. One person in the lounge room, myself in the control room on keyboards and operating the computer and the rest, and then the other boys in the corridors and wherever scattered around the house.
Wow.
So it was a humble beginning, but we worked very hard on that album, and we were very particular with what we wanted and the sort of sound we were trying to create, and we didn't we set things that we wanted and we stuck to them. And it ended up being, a year's worth of really hard work.
Yeah, I mean, you would be kind of attached to, I suppose, that recording process. I mean, the way you did it, it'd be one of those things where, you've grown it up as, your very own sort of child, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's funny you say that. It was like that. And when it came time to mix the album,
with
we were lucky
Noah Georgeson.
with Noah Georgeson, we were lucky enough to work with him, and we went over to LA for 2 weeks to stay with him and mix the record. And you know, handing over the files for the sessions, it really felt like we were handing over a part of ourselves, and
or a child to a boarding school.
Right, yeah, that's right. So it was daunting. Yeah.
How was it working with Noah? Because he's worked with Duran Banhart and the Strokes, to name a few big names. That's pretty pretty full on stuff.
Yeah, that's right. He mixed the Strokes record after our record,
mm-hmm.
and he's worked with Devendra. I mean, he's actually Devendra Banhart's guitarist.
Yeah.
As well as having worked on mixed his album. Some of his album.
So did you find he gave you sort of like most of your creative, still, you know, keep that sort of integrity with the record?
Sorry, come again?
Did you find that he sort of let you keep your original sound and not, you know, sort of more progression on it?
Oh, absolutely. He was that perfect combination of allowing us to, you know, letting us keep and maintain what we had already created, and you know, giving the songs their chance to, you know, to breathe and to be themselves, and he was also opinionated and you know, and gave his 2 cents worth,
mm-hmm.
you know, at the right time, you know, and he was never overbearing, and he was very humble and sweet, and you know, I mean, as well as doing a great job on our record, we became friends, and it was a beautiful time. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's lovely to hear. I mean, the record's been going great. I mean, it came out in October, and you've already got 3 singles. The third one now, The Woods, which you're actually touring for now.
That's right. Yeah.
You must have had some sort of, like, I suppose, musical intuition or something like that to sort of really think, man, we're really onto something good here. Was anything like that happen?
Yeah. Look, I think we felt like we were onto something good. I mean, we talked a lot about making an album that we were going to be proud of, and we tried to stick to that. We tried to make songs and to arrange them and to perform them in ways that we thought were good. Again, I never thought that it would get the attention that it is received.
Mm-hmm.
We never really thought it would be kind of Triple J friendly, and it ended up they really got behind the record.
Yeah, for sure.
That was, you know, their support for us was just invaluable. You know, it's so hard in this country without the support of Triple J, and
mm-hmm.
So we're, you know, again, excited and surprised, and yeah, just really thrilled.
Well, okay, so let's just talk a bit about your tour of recently. You played in South by Southwest, one of the biggest musical conferences and most important in the world. How was that for you?
Yeah, South by was an experience. It was really big. I can't really describe the gravity of that festival. It was just, you know, 8,000 bands from all around the world.
Taking over a whole town, sort of.
Literally, it is literally like being completely taken over. 500,000 people passing through the festival. There's just music
wow.
and gigs and people pouring into the streets all the time, you know, for 5 or 6 days, and it was a trip. It feels like a dream. And you know, we did 5 shows, and it was great. We did some really good shows. We were on the Sub Pop Showcase, which was really awesome. We were, you know, sharing the stage with lots of amazing Sub Pop acts.
Yeah.
And it was, and you know, again, it was an experience. It's probably something I wouldn't really look forward to doing again. Only
like
because it was really hard. Well, no, it's not that there were nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, heaps of people and really crowded and really intense, and a lot of like lugging the gear through the streets, carrying your gear, jumping up on stage, no sound checks, bang, off you go, try and deliver your songs as well as you can, and it was tough, but it was great. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Did you manage to catch any of the other bands at South by Southwest? Maybe some more Australian bands?
Right. That was another highlight of being over there. We just saw unbelievable acts. The standard of playing over there is just awesome. I mean, aside from seeing Aussie bands, we saw bands from all around the world, you know.
Any ones to watch out for?
Who did we see that was good? So Blitz and Trapper, who were a band from Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Also on the Sub Pop label.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Clark Jr., a guitarist from Austin, Texas, who does like a kind of a Jimi Hendrix sort of thing, but just an amazing singer and guitarist.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. We saw heaps of great stuff. Yeah, too many to mention.
Yeah, it must be pretty full on. I mean, now you're back in the country doing.
Yeah.
Well, you've just kicked the Woods tour off. I think you kicked that one off in Perth for the West Coast Blues and Roots Festival.
Yeah, well, that was our first show back in Oz, but that wasn't a part of the tour. So the tour actually started last week in Hobart.
In Hobart, that's right. Yeah. How did that go?
Was the first show. Yeah, it was fantastic. We loved going down to Hobart. I mean, aside from anything, the place is just stunning. You know, it's just so picturesque. So it was, it was good to have a little look around.
Well, okay. So in my opinion, your album Forever So it's a collection of folk songs, really beautifully crafted, soothing rhythms and warm guitars, complemented by keys, drums, and vocals. And that's a pretty sort of enchanting and sort of not laid back, but I'd say mellow, for want of a better word, sound. How does this sort of translate into your live shows?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. I mean, it's a balancing act between trying to deliver the songs as they are on the record, and there's also that element of how do you get the energy across that only comes from playing live and doesn't necessarily exist on the record. So, you know, we try to do both of those things. We try to play the songs as they were created and really, you know, really deliver the essence of what the song is about and the emotion and maybe the melancholy sort of vibe of the tune. We try and get that stuff across. But also, you know, we play with a lot of intensity and we have sort of maybe some improvised sections in the set, intros and outros that we add, and, you know, which we adapt arrangements for playing live, and so we do change things up quite a lot.
So it's not just a gig; it's more of an experience, I suppose. It sounds like it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess the audience has to be the judge of that, but I would hope so.
Intriguing. How's the audience been anyway? Have they been receiving your shows pretty well so far?
In Oz?
Yeah, in Australia here. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we just started this tour, so it's hard. I can't really speak for the tour that's coming up. But our last tour was fantastic. You know, it was really well attended, and I guess it was mostly kind of sold out shows.
Yeah, I mean, you've been announcing second shows and third shows and stuff for this tour already.
Yeah,
it's very exciting stuff.
That's true. Yeah,
always a good sign.
That is a good sign. Yeah, that's true. And you know, we've also been very lucky to jump on a lot of fantastic Aussie support throughout 2011, and you know, that always helps to build an audience. If you're engaging, I guess it's not easy to support slot in Australia. I don't think you have to. You know, I guess there's that feeling that you have to win the audience, so they don't know you. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But we were lucky. We jumped on a lot of great supports, including Gautier and Kimbra and John Butler Trio.
And I suppose it's just been going up from there, yeah.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, it's been a bit of a snowball kind of effect.
Okay, so it's the third single you're celebrating the release of, The Woods. Now, it's a trifecta. Let's call it a trifecta of singles from the album Forever So. Are you bringing anything special to these shows now?
Are we bringing anything special?
Yeah, just in celebration of, you know, the third. You know, 3's a good number. Everyone likes the number 3.
3 is a very good number. I hope we're bringing something special. We try to make all of the shows special. We try to make all of the tours special, and
That's
we work
very good
hard.
answer.
we're very committed to playing as well as we can and putting on great shows, and I mean, I hope that the shows are special. Yeah,
I'm sure there will be. Okay, so after your touring of Australia, that finishes up on the 6th of May in Melbourne, and then after another couple shows not related to the Woods tour, you're going off to the UK to support the Jezebels, and then you'll tour around Germany, and after you'll finish in the US. That's a pretty full-on year, man. Like, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. It's a dream of probably most musicians, particularly Australian musicians, because it is so hard to be at that level where you can pack your bags and start doing international tours.
Exactly.
It's also daunting, it's also scary, and being away for such big stretches has its challenges. But we're thrilled to have these opportunities.
Oh, well, that's very humble of you.
Well, we're lucky.
Yeah. Oh, and talent. There must be some sort of talent in there as well.
Oh, perhaps, I'm not sure.
So, are you looking forward to any show in particular in your travels over the next couple months until I think July?
Very, very much looking forward to playing at the Jive bar in Adelaide.
Ah, yes.
Saturday night.
That's this Saturday night, the 21st of April.
That's right. Yep.
And I think there's tickets still available.
I believe there are a few tickets available. There's definitely not many. Last time I checked. So
I'll definitely update our listeners on the Facebook page after this interview, because this chat will be airing on Saturday, the day of the show. So I'll be sure to get listeners on before then.
Yeah, right.
But it's good to hear you're looking forward to coming down to Adelaide, little old
Yeah,
Adelaide.
of course. We love coming there.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, one last question I have to ask. I always have to ask this question. So what have you got planned for after the tour for the rest of the year, July and beyond? Are you maybe writing, or are you intending to put your feet up a little bit and relax as a band as a whole, or what's going on there? Any plans yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got to do this this big international tour.
Of course,
so
of course.
That's number one. I mean, once we've done the Woods tour in Australia, we do our European and American run.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll come back, and there's talk of perhaps doing another American run after that.
Oh, wow.
And then maybe we'll have a bit of time to write. I don't think we'll be kicking back and taking it easy anytime soon. I don't think that's really an option at the moment for us.
Yeah, obviously in high demand.
Well, yeah, and there's work to be done, and there's albums to make and tours to do, and again, we're lucky to be in the position where we can do all of this stuff, and it's always been a dream of ours to be able to, live the life of a musician, and for the time being, we're going to be doing that. So I think a lot of hard work
and making the most of it, I suppose.
Definitely, sure.
Well, brilliant. Well, we look forward to hearing more from you guys. Well, especially we're just going to focus on your Australian tour now. It's very exciting stuff. Yeah. And just a reminder for Adelaide dudes here, you're playing at Jive on Saturday night. I'll give the full details on the Facebook page and on the show. But get tickets fast, everyone. It's going to be a good show. And, of course, you're looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Well,
great.
Well, thanks for speaking with us today, Gideon.
Thanks for having me.
Best of luck for the tour ahead and for the album and the singles. And have a good time overseas, man.
Yeah, yes. I hope we will.
I'm sure you will, mate. Well, good luck again, and we'll see you on Saturday at Jive.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.